The hidden cost of forced positivity. Positive vibes only sounds harmless, but it can numb you, stall your growth, and quietly fracture the relationships you care about most. The hidden problem is spiritual bypassing, avoiding real emotional work under the mask of being high vibration. Most advice tells you to suppress low emotions. That backfires. Suppression ramps up stress and traps unresolved stuff in your body-mind. In this video, you'll learn the psychology behind bypassing, how to spot it quickly, and a practical process to integrate emotions without ditching your spiritual practice. Stay with me for a simple 3-phase method to process difficult feelings safely, so you feel clearer, not lower. Let's name what's actually happening. What spiritual bypassing is and isn't. Spiritual bypassing means using spiritual ideas or practices to sidestep unresolved emotional and psychological work. The term was popularized by psychologist John Welwood in the late 1980s, describing how spiritual concepts can be used as defenses rather than doorways. It looks wholesome, sounds wise, and even feels peaceful at first, but it swaps emotional labor for spiritual language. Instead of, I'm angry and need to repair, it becomes, I'm letting it go to stay high vibe. The pain doesn't vanish, it goes underground. You'll see it in a few common forms. There's the love and light only approach that edits out grief and anger, as if they threaten enlightenment. There are fate or karma rationalizations. This happened for a reason, used to skip accountability or grief. Premature forgiveness shows up when someone rushes to absolve before acknowledging harm or re-establishing safety. And detachment becomes an escape hatch, calling it non-attachment, while actually disconnecting from your body and relationships to avoid discomfort. Now, here's what it isn't. Healthy optimism isn't bypassing. Choosing hope after you've felt and processed pain is resilience, not denial. Skillful reframing isn't bypassing either. It's the ability to see a bigger context once your nervous system has settled. Legitimate regulation, breathwork, prayer, grounding, helps you stay within your window of tolerance so you can engage the issue, not run from it. And genuine contemplative equanimity isn't numbness, it's capacity. You can feel fully while staying steady. Underneath, bypassing rides on familiar defense mechanisms, classic psychodynamic defenses that protect against perceived threat. Avoidance says, I'll meditate instead of having that hard conversation. Denial says, I'm not hurt, I've transcended it. Dissociation splits you from bodily sensation, so you don't feel the ache. Reaction formation flips a negative emotion into its opposite, exaggerated sweetness. So no one, including you, sees the underlying anger or fear. When you add a positivity veneer, these defenses look enlightened. They're still defenses. The cost is real. Growth stalls because unresolved emotions don't disappear. They keep looping. Intimacy gets blocked when your outsides, calm words, don't match your insides, tension, resentment. That mismatch erodes trust. Patterns repeat because memory reconsolidation can't update without full emotional processing. Somatically, your body carries the tab. Tight jaw, shallow breath, headaches, irritability, and hypervigilance that you might mistake for intuition when it's actually stress. The thing most people miss is that emotion is a process, not a moral category. Anger, grief, fear, these aren't low. They're signals and energy that want completion. When you bypass, you freeze the process midstream. Spiritual language can soothe in the short term, but it quietly trains your brain that feeling equals danger. Then it gets harder to feel anything, even joy, without reaching for spiritual highs to offset the numbness. So how do you tell the difference between growth and bypass when both can look calm? Look at what happens after. With real processing, you gain capacity, more range, better boundaries, cleaner communication. With bypassing, you get rigidity, narrow tolerance, brittle positivity, and a fear of negativity that polices yourself and others. Actually, let me back up and make a clean checkpoint. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Bypassing is the substitution of spiritual language for emotional labor. Not love instead of anger, but love after anger is felt and completed. Not, I forgive to feel superior, but I forgive after safety and repair exist. Not, I'm above it, but I can stay with it. There's also a timing piece. Healthy spirituality often supports you at the front and back end of emotional work. Front end, regulation so you don't drown. Back end, meaning making once the wave has moved through. Bypassing collapses both steps into one, jumping to meaning before the body finishes. It's like reading the moral of a story before you've lived the chapter. A quick micro story. A client told me, I don't do. Anger, I transmute. They were proud of never raising their voice. But their partner described walking on eggshells. No yelling, yet constant tension. When we slowed down, the client noticed a hot band across the chest and a locked jaw during conflicts. They weren't transcending anger, they were containing it. Once they allowed 2 minutes of safe, paced contact with that sensation, the eggshells started disappearing. Not because the anger was gone, but because it finally had somewhere to go. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. You can keep your spiritual practice and stop bypassing by shifting the sequence. First, regulate enough to feel. Second, feel enough to complete. Third, frame what it means. Swap the order, and you'll get stuck in shiny avoidance. Why do smart, sincere seekers fall into this? Because it works briefly. Positivity provides fast relief and social approval. Communities often reward light and exile messy. And if your nervous system is already stressed, numbing can feel like peace. That's why we need a method that protects your safety while honoring your full emotional range. Now, let's talk about why we're so vulnerable to bypassing in the first place. Why we're vulnerable, the psychology driving bypassing. We're wired to avoid pain. Your brain learns fast. If pushing away a feeling gives even 10 seconds of relief, it rewards that move. That's negative reinforcement, an operant conditioning loop where relief reinforces avoidance. The discomfort drops, so the avoidance loop strengthens. Next time sadness rises, your body remembers the shortcut. Slap on a positive thought, escalate a mantra, scroll inspirational quotes, and boom, relief. The loop tightens even if the problem underneath keeps festering. Now add identity protection. Once you see yourself as a spiritual person, the ego quietly defends that image. Cognitive dissonance, the discomfort from conflicting beliefs and states, kicks in. I'm compassionate, therefore I shouldn't feel rage. The gap between who you are and who you think you should be feels tense. To reduce that tension, you deny, reframe prematurely, or flood yourself with higher language. The act protects your identity while freezing the parts that need attention. You stay intact, but you stay stuck. Community pressure amplifies this. Many spiritual circles have unspoken purity norms. People who grieve too long or express anger get labeled low vibe. Belonging is on the line, so you self-monitor, edit your truth, and curate your inner life to avoid exile. Even well-meaning groups can slide into vibe policing. Cheery posts only, struggle gets private DMs, dissent gets spiritualized as your shadow. Belonging threats shape behavior fast. We trade authenticity for safety. Misapplied teachings make it worse. Non-attachment gets twisted into non-feeling. If I'm enlightened, I won't be bothered. That's not wisdom. That's suppression in robes. Thoughts create reality becomes a weapon. If I think about pain, I'll attract more, so I won't think about it. That sounds strategic, but confuses attention with avoidance. What we resist often persists, because it never completes its physiological cycle. The teaching isn't the problem, the timing is. There's also a nervous system angle. If you've got trauma history or chronic stress, your baseline may be dysregulated. In that state, numbness can feel like peace. Think polyvagal theory here. When your system shifts into dorsal shutdown or sympathetic overdrive, calm can actually be collapse or bracing. And zoom in on your window of tolerance. If it's narrow, even moderate emotion feels like too much, so you'll reach for anything that flattens intensity. Spiritual highs, long meditations, breath holds, bypassy affirmations can mimic dissociation. Floaty, spacey, out-of-body calm. It's seductive because it's quiet, but it's not integration. When your body finally tries to discharge emotion, it feels threatening, so you sprint back to the high. The loop becomes up and out, never down and through. Let me show you a typical arc. A student told me, I meditated my anger away. For weeks, they felt serene. Then insomnia hit, and resentment toward their partner spiked during small conflicts. Why? The anger hadn't gone. It had split off from awareness. At night, with defenses down, the system tried to metabolize it, hence the restless energy. During the day, minor triggers found the stored charge and lit it up. Meditation wasn't the problem, it was the sequence. Calm first, yes, but then contact the feeling, let it move, and only after that reframe. The thing most people miss is how fast the avoidance habit generalizes. Start with sadness, and soon you're bypassing anger, then fear, then even joy when it threatens control. The psyche prefers consistency. If feeling equals low vibe, then everything that feels intense gets filed as danger. Capacity shrinks. life narrows. You start craving certainty and ritual control, strict diets, rigid routines, because flexibility feels unsafe when the body holds unprocessed charge. There's also status. In some circles, being unbothered signals maturity, so people perform equanimity. That performance is sticky because it wins praise. But the cost is intimacy. Partners and friends sense the mismatch between your words and your micro-expressions. Trust erodes when your face says calm, but your shoulders scream braced. So you double down on spiritual language to explain the gap, which deepens the divide. Before we continue, you need to understand the brain's reward math. Avoidance pays now, costs later. Approach, turning toward pain, costs now, pays later. Without a clear method and safe pacing, your nervous system will keep picking the immediate discount. That's not a character flaw, it's conditioning. The fix isn't shaming yourself for avoiding. It's making approaching safer and more rewarding in small, repeatable ways. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Curiosity beats control. When you meet a feeling with precision, where is it? What shape? What intensity? You switch from identity threat to information gathering. That slight shift lowers the ego's alarm. You're not failing your spiritual identity. You're learning your organism. Once that clicks, approach becomes thinkable. There's one more vulnerability: confusion between content and capacity. People try to change thoughts while their capacity to feel is tiny, so they default to positive content. But if capacity is small, any content that's intense will feel bad. Grow capacity, and even difficult content becomes workable. That's why we front-load safety and pacing. It upgrades the system that holds the feelings, not just the story about them. So yes, we bypass because it feels good, protects identity, secures belonging, and misreads teachings. And because dysregulated systems pick numbness every time. The good news is you can retrain all of this with a method that honors your spirituality and your biology. Which raises the next question: what exactly goes wrong inside your brain and body when you suppress emotion instead of processing it? The science. What suppression does to your brain and body. Here's what suppression actually does under the hood. When you push feelings down, your body doesn't power off. It powers up. Heart rate ticks higher, blood pressure nudges up, muscles brace, and breathing goes shallow. You look composed, but your sympathetic system is doing overtime. That hidden arousal costs energy and shrinks your window of tolerance, which is why you feel fine until a tiny trigger tips you over. Decades of effective science show this trade-off. Expressive suppression increases physiological load even when it flattens visible emotion. See Gross's emotion regulation research. And ironic monitoring makes avoided thoughts rebound more strongly later. Wegner's White Bear findings. Now the ironic rebound. Try not to think about something, and your brain flags it as important. Suppressed thoughts and emotions tend to return stronger and more frequent because the monitoring system keeps checking. Is it gone yet? That repeated checking keeps the signal alive. So the more you clamp down on anger or grief, the more often it pops back, sometimes at odd hours or in displaced ways, snapping at small things or spinning mentally at night. There's a somatic storage angle too. If an emotion wants movement and expression but gets blocked, the body holds the charge as tension patterns: tight jaw, clenched pelvic floor, locked shoulders, frozen breath. Over time, those patterns feel normal, like your default posture. Shallow breathing feeds anxiety. Chronic bracing trains your system to expect threat. You think you're just sensitive, when you're actually living inside a guarded body. Let me show you why partners feel this even when you say you're okay. Humans are wired for effect matching. When the facial expression and tone don't match the body's micro-cues, the other person's nervous system reads something's off. That mismatch erodes trust. You say, "I'm at peace," while your eyes flicker and your voice flattens. They sense inauthenticity, not because you're lying on purpose, but because suppression breaks alignment between words and state. Memory plays a part. For the brain to truly update a pattern, what we call reconsolidation, reactivating a memory and pairing it with a mismatch so it updates. You need the original emotional memory active in a safe context with a new experience that contradicts it. If you suppress the emotion, the memory trace never fully activates, so it can't be revised. The old pattern stays intact and repeats. Different partner, same fight. Different job, same freeze. The reason this all holds together is completion. Emotions are physiological action programs designed to run to the end. Anger mobilizes, grief softens and releases, fear orients and protects. When you interrupt the sequence, activation remains. unfinished. Your nervous system keeps that file open, consuming resources in the background. That's why you feel tired after being positive all day. You weren't calm, you were efforting. Common mistake time. People confuse suppression with regulation. Regulation reduces arousal while staying in contact with experience. Longer exhales, grounding touch, orienting to the room, so you can process. Suppression disconnects from experience to avoid arousal. One builds capacity, the other builds armor. A quick test. After regulation, do you feel more connected to your body and clearer about what matters? That's regulation. After suppression, do you feel numb, brittle, or performative calm? That's suppression. There's also a brain network shift to notice. Suppression leans hard on top-down control, prefrontal regions pushing down limbic signals. That works short-term, but it's metabolically costly and doesn't change the source. Skillful acceptance and contact recruit different pathways. Attention networks that include sensations without judgment, reducing limbic reactivity over time. Translation: welcoming small doses of feeling actually lowers the need to fight it later. Okay, so what's the quick win you can try today? Practice micro-completion. When irritation flickers, pause for 20 seconds. Locate it in the body, maybe heat in the throat. Exhale longer than you inhale. Allow one natural impulse, yawn, swallow, sigh, tiny neck roll. Then reorient. 2 things you see, 1 thing you hear. You didn't analyze. You let a wave move 1 notch. That's completion in micro. Now here's where most people mess up. They add meaning too early. During the wave, your cortex wants to tell stories. Who's right, who's wrong, what this says about you. That analysis hijacks attention away from sensation and keeps the wave stuck. Save the story for later. During the wave, stay with what it's like. Pulsing, tightening, cooling, loosening. 2 minutes later, you'll have a clearer story anyway. Another consequence to name: control creep. Because suppression requires effort, you unconsciously expand control to maintain it. Rigid schedules, strict diets, perfectionism about high vibe. That rigidity isn't discipline. It's scaffolding to keep feelings contained. The fix isn't to blast it all open at once. It's to build capacity gradually, so you don't need as much scaffolding. Let me offer a tiny checkpoint. If you remember nothing else from this section, suppression raises arousal, narrows capacity, and blocks memory updating. Completion lowers arousal, widens capacity, and rewires patterns. Your nervous system doesn't need you to be positive. It needs you to be present long enough for the wave to finish. So when spirituality says rise above, and your body says bear down, believe your body first. Once the wave completes, positivity becomes congruent instead of cosmetic. And that congruence is what creates trust in you and safety in your relationships. Now, with the science in place, let's separate healthy spiritual practice from its deceptively calm look-alike, bypass. Spot the difference: spiritual practice versus spiritual bypass. Let's make this simple and specific. Start with intent. When you sit to meditate, pray, journal, or breathe, are you approaching pain or escaping pain? Curiosity sounds like, can I be with what's here? Control sounds like, how do I stop feeling this? Same posture, different motive. The first expands capacity. The second hides the mess. Now check outcomes over a few days. Real practice leaves you clearer and more flexible. You notice more options, your breath moves freely, and you can choose a response even when you're stirred up. Bypass leaves you numb or rigid. You're calm until something negative shows up. Then you clamp down or get irritated at yourself or others for lowering the vibe. If calm requires constant guarding, that's not peace, that's pressure. Language gives it away. Bypass voices rules and ceilings. High vibe only, no negative thoughts. I won't let this affect me. Healthy practice makes room and roots. I can feel this and stay grounded. I can pendulate between the sensation and a resource. I can let the wave move and then decide. One polices, the other permits. Time horizon matters. After genuine processing, you often feel softer, more open, a little tired in a good way, and later you notice expansion, honester conversations, easier boundaries, less reactivity. With bypass, you get a temporary lift followed by a repeat loop. Same trigger, same clamp, same pressure to be okay. If your calendar is packed with practices, but your patterns don't change, that's a signal. Try the relationship test. Does your practice deepen repair? When conflicts happen, are you quicker to name impact, validate, and propose a fix? Or do you jump to spiritualized gaslighting? You're projecting. That's your story. My frequency can't engage this. If your partner, friend, or colleague consistently feels dismissed, you're probably using concepts to avoid contact. Real practice grows humility. I see my part. Here's what I'll do differently. Let me show you a fast litmus test you can use today. The 2% more test. When a feeling shows up, ask, can I feel 2% more of this without tipping over? If yes, lengthen your exhale, name one sensation, warmth in chest, and pendulate for 10 seconds to a resource. Feet on the floor, cooler air on skin. Then return to the sensation for another 10 seconds. If you can increase contact by just 2% and stay present, you're practicing. If you refuse any percent because it'll lower my vibe, that's bypass. Here's where most people mess up. They confuse detachment with dissociation. Healthy detachment is capacity. It's the space that lets you feel without drowning. Dissociation is distance. It cuts the cord so you don't have to feel at all. If you exit your body to achieve calm, that calm won't translate into relationship repair or courageous choices. If you stay in your body and widen tolerance, calm becomes usable. Another marker is how you handle uncertainty. Practice builds tolerance for not knowing while still moving forward. Bypass tries to control everything. Perfect routines, strict diets, ritual purity, to keep difficult feelings from surfacing. Ask yourself, can I adjust my ritual without spiraling? If flexibility collapses your inner order, the ritual is doing emotional containment, work your nervous system still needs to learn internally. Let's add a quick example split screen. Two people get critical feedback. Person A pauses, breathes, feels heat in the cheeks, fists soften, then asks for specifics and proposes a next step. Later, they journal to integrate. Person B smiles serenely, says, I receive this with love, then avoids the person for a week and posts about protecting energy. Both looked calm. Only one repaired. A checkpoint you can use weekly. Review your last 3 uncomfortable moments. Did your practice help you name what you felt, what you needed, and what you did? Did it lead to an action, boundary, repair, or rest? If feelings vanish but actions never change, you're probably spiritualizing avoidance. Now the game changer nobody talks about. Track breath congruence. After a practice or a conversation, ask, does my breath expand automatically, or do I have to make it happen? Spontaneous expansion signals integration. Forced expansion signals performance. Your body doesn't lie. Finally, remember the order. Practice to regulate, contact to metabolize, meaning to orient. If you jump to meaning first, mantras, reframe, cosmic storyline, you'll create calm ideas on top of active sensation. That's the bypass lookalike. Slow the sequence, and the differences become obvious. When in doubt, choose 2% more feeling and 1% fewer words. Once you nail that, everything else clicks. The 3-phase integration method, overview. Here's the map that lets you keep your spirituality and stop bypassing. Safety, contact, meaning. Think of it as building a bridge your nervous system will actually cross. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you rush, you white-knuckle and default to old defenses. If you pace it, capacity expands and the emotions complete. Phase 1 is safety. The goal isn't to erase the feeling. It's to create enough stability that your body can feel without flooding. You're building a container. Practically, that means orienting to the room, lengthening your exhale, setting a time box, and having resources ready. A supportive seat, a comforting object, a plan to pause. When safety is present, your system stops treating emotion like a threat. Without it, you'll chase calm with control. Phase 2 is contact. This is where you meet the exact sensation, location, shape, temperature, movement, at a dose your body can handle. We pendulate. A few seconds with the sensation, a few seconds with a resource, back and forth. That toggling keeps you engaged without drowning. You allow micro-movements, yawns, shakes, sighs, so completion impulses can happen. You stay with, what is it like right now? Not, why is it here? Analysis waits. Phase 3 is meaning. After a wave moves, there's a short window where your brain's plasticity is higher. That's when you update beliefs, boundaries, and behaviors from a calmer, truer state. You write the old story, then the lived, updated one. You make one small change, ask for a boundary, tweak a habit, or initiate a repair. This locks the emotional work into real life, so patterns shift. The thing most people miss is the order. Bypassing flips it, jumping to meaning first. We do regulation to access the feeling, not to avoid it. We feel enough to complete, then we frame. If you remember nothing else about the method, regulate to approach, contact to metabolize, meaning to integrate. Let me show you how this looks in 5 minutes. You notice tension after a tough message. Phase 1. You look around and name 5 safe cues. Light on the wall, plant on the desk, warmth in your hands. You set a 3-minute timer. Exhale longer than you inhale. Shoulders drop 2%. That's enough. Phase 2. You place attention on the tight band in your chest. You label it narrow, warm, 5 out of 10. 15 seconds there, then pendulate to a resource, sensation of your feet pressing the floor. 10 seconds there, back to the chest. The warmth moves up to the throat, intensity dips to 4. A spontaneous sigh comes, you let it. 1 more pendulation. A tiny swallow. The band loosens. Phase 3. You ask, what belief was running? Maybe it was, if I don't respond perfectly, I'll be rejected. You write that down, then the truer one. I can respond honestly and repair if needed. You choose one action. I'll reply with clarity about my concern and a proposed fix. You send a 2-sentence message. Done. Now, common mistakes. The big one is skipping safety. People try to be brave without a container, flood, and conclude. Feeling makes it worse. It wasn't feeling, it was dose. Another is jumping to lesson hunting mid-wave. What's the teaching here? That pulls you into your head and freezes the process. Save meaning for after the exhale happens on its own. Also, beware of turning phases into rules. Flexibility is a sign of integration. A microstory to ground this. A client used to reframe instantly. Everything is perfect. Their body, though, was rigid during conflict. We ran the method. Safety, orient, exhale, time box. Contact, a buzzing in the belly, pendulate with hand on heart. Meaning, it's okay if they're upset, I can stay. 2 weeks later, their partner said, you're actually here now. The difference wasn't nicer words. It was a completed wave and a new behavior. Let me give you a quick starter template. Before, 2 calming breaths, scan the room, set a timer. During, name 1 sensation, pendulate twice, allow any natural impulse. After, write 1 sentence of updated belief and take 1 action. That's it. Repeat small and often. You're teaching your system that feeling is survivable and useful. Remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you go slow enough to stay, you'll go fast enough to change. Phase 1, safety, nervous system first aid. Safety isn't about feeling amazing. It's about creating enough stability that your body says, we can be here. Without that, you'll either clamp down or flood. So we start simple, orienting, boundaries, resources, and co-regulation. Think of this as first aid for your nervous system. Fast, practical, repeatable. Begin with orienting. Let your eyes slowly scan the room. Name 5 cues of safety out loud or in your mind. The light on the wall, the texture of the couch, the weight of your body in the chair, the scent of tea, distant traffic. Orienting tells your survival system, we're not in danger right now. Then lengthen your exhale. Inhale. Naturally, exhale just a beat longer. Maybe a count of 4 out, 3 in. 2 or 3 breaths like that reduce arousal enough to think and feel. Now set boundaries with time and consent. Time box the practice. 10 minutes is plenty. Say to yourself, I'm choosing to feel a little, not everything. Have an exit plan. If intensity spikes, you'll pause, stand up, look around, drink water, or text a friend. Place a safe object nearby. A soft hoodie, a stone, a photo. That object becomes a reliable anchor if your attention wobbles. Consent matters. Check in. Do I have enough capacity to touch this for a few minutes? If the answer's no, you build capacity first and return later. Next is your resource stack. 3 quick categories: breath, posture, temperature. For breath, stick to longer exhales. You're not forcing calm. You're nudging the throttle down. For posture, adjust so your spine is supported and your feet contact the floor. Stable posture signals safety faster than affirmations. For temperature, use a small shift. Cool water on your wrists, a warm mug in your hands, a light blanket. Temperature changes are reliable inputs your nervous system tracks instantly. Add grounding touch. 1 hand on your chest, 1 on your belly, or 2 hands on your thighs. Gentle pressure communicates containment. Co-regulation is a safety multiplier. If you can text or call a supportive person and say, I'm doing 10 minutes of processing. Can I check in after? If you have a therapist, schedule your deeper dives there. Groups can help too. Containers where messy states are welcomed, not fixed. When another regulated nervous system is present, yours borrows stability. That's not weakness, that's mammalian design. Let's talk red flags. If you notice panic spikes, racing heart, air hunger, tunnel vision, slow way down. Look around and name 3 colors. Plant feet. Press gently into the floor for 10 seconds. Release for 10. Repeat. If dissociation creeps in, spacey, floaty, far away, come back to stronger anchors. Open your eyes fully, say your name and today's date, describe the room in mundane detail. If those don't help, stop and do something simple and physical. Splash water, walk, eat. You're not quitting, you're resetting. Here's a quick practice to lock in before any inquiry. A 90-second somatic settle. Sit, feel your seat, and let your eyes leisurely scan left to right and back again, pausing on something pleasant or neutral. Inhale gently, exhale longer, 3 times. Name 3 sounds, 2 sights, 1 body sensation. Place a hand where contact feels good, and let 1 natural sigh happen. If it doesn't come, no problem. You're not forcing it. That's your pre-flight check. You're building enough stability to meet what's next. Common mistakes here? Forcing breath or posture into perfection. The goal isn't ideal. It's good enough to stay. Another is making safety a performance. Doing the moves while your mind races. If that's happening, simplify to 1 thing, orienting. 5 cues, slow exhale. Repeat until the room feels more real than the story. Now a quick micro story. A client used to jump straight into childhood memories and overwhelm every time. We flipped it. For 2 weeks, they did only safety, orienting, time boxing, hand on chest, cool water, a check-in text. By week 3, when they felt a surge of grief, their body recognized the anchors and didn't bolt. The grief wave lasted 90 seconds, then a spontaneous yawn. They said, "For the first time, I didn't need to escape." If you remember nothing else about safety, create conditions where feeling is possible without overwhelm. You're not fixing the emotion yet. You're convincing your body that contact won't equal catastrophe. Small cues, short windows, clear exits. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Here's a quick template you can run today. Step 1, set a 10-minute timer. Step 2, orient, 5 cues, longer exhales. Step 3, stack resources, supportive seat, grounding touch, temperature shift. Step 4, state consent. I'll touch this gently. Step 5, name your exit, stand up, look around, drink water. If anything spikes, you pivot to your anchors and pause. That's not failure. That's intelligent pacing. Once safety holds even a little, you can afford precision. And when you can afford precision, your system can metabolize instead of brace. Now that the container is built, we can move into contact without drowning. Phase 2, contact, emotion processing, not drowning. Now that safety holds, we step into contact. The part most people skip or overdo. The aim isn't to dig deep. It's to meet what's here with precision and pacing, so your system metabolizes instead of braces. Think micro, not marathon. Start with name it to tame it. Move attention from story to sensation. Where is it? Pick a location with the most signal, not the loudest drama. What's the shape? Narrow band, spreading cloud, tight knot. What's the quality? Warm, prickly, heavy buzzing? Give it an intensity from 0 to 10. Keep it simple. Tight ring across the chest, warm, 5 out of 10. You're describing weather, not judging character. That shift alone drops reactivity. Now pendulate. This is your anti-flood tool. Set a short interval, 10 to 20 seconds. Spend 1 interval with the sensation, then switch to a resource for the same interval. Feet on the floor, the weight of the chair, the sensation of your hands, a neutral sound in the room. Back and forth. You are training your nervous system to approach and retreat without abandoning yourself. 2 or 3 rounds often soften intensity by 1 notch. That's success. As you pendulate, allow micro movements. Your body knows how to complete emotions when you get out of the way. Yawns, sighs, swallows, eye blinks, tiny shakes of the hands, a gentle roll of the shoulders. These are completion impulses, not distractions. The thing most people miss is they brace against them to look composed. Let them happen. If a bigger movement wants to come, a deeper exhale, a stretch, permit it within your time box. The point isn't drama, it's discharge. Shift your language while you do this. Replace, "Why is this here?" with "What is it like right now?" Why pulls you into analysis and self-judgment? What keeps you in contact? Ask simple questions. Is it moving or staying? Cooling or warming? Expanding or narrowing? Track changes like a sportscaster calling the game. When you witness subtle shifts, your system recognizes progress and keeps cooperating. Here's a tight protocol you can try. A 2-minute timer, 3 cycles. Cycle 1, 15 seconds with sensation, 10 seconds with resource. Notice any natural impulse and let it happen. Cycle 2, same timing, update intensity. Now 4 out of 10. Cycle 3, repeat, then pause for a spontaneous breath. If none comes, no problem. End by orienting to the room. You just practiced metabolizing without drowning. Common mistakes? Analysis too early. The moment it softens, people rush to meaning. This is from childhood, it must mean. That hijacks attention and freezes the wave. Bookmark insights. We'll use them in phase 3. Another mistake is spiritual interpretation mid-wave. This is karmic, I'm transmuting. That sounds elevated, but pulls you away from sensation. Save it. For 2 minutes, you're a curious scientist of your own body. Another trap, chasing intensity. You don't need to feel everything to heal anything. Dose matters. If intensity spikes above a 7, widen your pendulation ratio. Shorter time on sensation, longer on resource. Or drop to contact light. Place one hand on the area, feel the hand more than the sensation. That keeps the file open without frying your circuits. Let me give you a micro story. A client felt a stone in their throat during hard talks. Historically, they'd shove it down with a smile. In contact, they named it Hard Cool 6. Pendulate to feet on the floor. Back to throat. It's softer 5. A natural swallow arrived. They let it. Then a tiny yawn. After 3 cycles, they said one sentence to their partner without collapsing. I want to keep listening, and I'm getting tense. Repair later was easier, because the wave moved. If you notice numbness instead of sensation, that's still data. Name the numbness. Flat, wide 3. Pendulate with something vivid. Temperature, textured fabric between fingers, a stronger visual anchor. Numbness often hides subtle microsignals. As safety builds, it thaws. Don't force it. Presence with numbness is still contact. If your attention keeps darting to story, use a simple mantra to tether. Sensation, resource, return. Or count breaths during each interval. 4 in, 6 out, while staying with the felt sense. Tiny structure beats, white-knuckle willpower. What about tears or anger surges? Use the same frame. Tears. Feel the warmth on cheeks, the ache around eyes, the breath movement. Let a gentle rocking if it comes. Anger. Track heat in chest or hands, jaw pressure, urge to push. Allow micro pushes against your palms or the chair. Just enough to satisfy the motor program without acting it out. 2 or 3 waves often settle into clarity or fatigue, both signs of completion. End each contact bout with a brief reorient. Name 2 things you see, 1 thing you hear, 1 body place that feels neutral or pleasant. This closes the loop and communicates. We did a dose and we're safe. If you remember nothing else about contact, precision and pacing beat depth and drama. Name, pendulate, allow, return. Small waves, many reps. That's how you metabolize without drowning. Phase 3, meaning, integration into life. Now that sensations have moved, this is where you lock change into the real world. There's a short afterglow window, often minutes to a few hours, when your brain is more plastic and receptive. Use it. Small, concrete shifts made here ripple far. Think of meaning as orienting your compass after the storm, not writing poetry about the weather. Start with belief updates. Grab a pen. Write the old narrative in plain, slightly exaggerated language so you can see the bias. If I speak up, they'll leave. Then write the truer, lived one that includes your recent experience. When I speak up and stay regulated, some people get uncomfortable, and we often repair. Keep it behavioral and specific. Avoid cosmic generalizations. You're teaching your brain a usable rule, not crafting a mantra to bypass later feelings. Next, translate belief into behavior. Commit to 3 micromoves, maximum 1 each from boundaries, habits, and repair. For boundaries, make a single clear request. In meetings, please don't interrupt. I'll finish, then I'm all ears. For habits, tweak something tiny that supports capacity. Phone stays outside the bedroom. 2 pages of handwriting before scrolling. For repair, choose 1 concrete step. Text Alex. I got defensive yesterday. Impact matters to me. Can we talk today after 5? 1 move per lane beats a grand plan you won't keep. Here's the alignment check that saves you from performative growth. Notice your breath and posture while imagining the action. Does your breath expand or constrict? Expansion signals congruence. Constriction doesn't mean don't do it. It means downshift the dose. Maybe you start by practicing the boundary sentence out loud twice before the meeting, or you request 5 minutes of uninterrupted time instead of sweeping change. Slow is still smooth here. Pitfalls show up fast in this phase. The big one is premature forgiveness. Forgiveness without safety, repair, and restitution collapses accountability and teaches your system that your boundaries don't matter. If the harm was real and ongoing, prioritize protection and clear agreements. Forgiveness can come later, or not. Your job is to update reality, not to out-spiritual your nervous system. Another common trap is inflating meaning. After a powerful wave, everything can feel symbolic. Resist the urge to assign destiny-level narratives. Keep the lens close. What did your body learn? What belief updated? What action follows? Save big-picture reflections for journaling at week's end, not mid-integration when your system needs simplicity. Let me show you a clean sequence using a recent contact. Say you processed that tight ring in the chest, and it softened. Belief update, old. If I show irritation, I'll be seen as ungrateful. New. I can express irritation respectfully and stay connected. Behavior, one boundary request. When plans change last minute, please tell me why. It helps me stay flexible. One habit tweak. Put tomorrow's top 3 tasks on a sticky note before bed. One repair. Apologize for the eye roll and name the underlying need. Then run the breath check. If breath narrows, lower the ask. Start with naming the need. Save the boundary ask for tomorrow. This is also the time to encode memory reconsolidation. Speak the new belief out loud while you feel the calmer body state. Pairing language with state helps your brain bind the update to the original trigger. Keep it short and specific. I can stay with discomfort and speak clearly. 2 repetitions are plenty. Over-repeating turns it into a spell and risks bypass. State before statement, always. For relationships, build a tiny script library. Draft one opener for the next hard conversation in a single sentence. Aim for impact first, ask second. When the deadline moved without a heads up, I got tense and scrambled. Can we set a check-in next time? That structure honors your experience and moves toward a collaborative fix. Write it now, while your system is settled. When the moment comes, you'll have language that matches your body. Meaning also includes choosing environment. Ask, what context supports this new pattern? Maybe it's sitting closer to the door in meetings, so you feel less trapped, or picking a cafe for a tough talk, because public spaces keep you measured. That's not avoidance, it's intelligent design, stacking the deck so your nervous system says yes more easily. Watch for spiritualized superiority sneaking in here. After progress, the ego loves to declare graduation. Keep humility active. Name 3 things you still don't know about the situation, the other person, or yourself. Curiosity prevents rigidity and keeps you in learning mode rather than performance mode. A microstory. After integrating a fear of conflict wave, a client wanted to transform their relationship dynamic overnight. We shrank it. They texted one sentence to their partner. I want to talk about chores for 10 minutes. I'll bring a timer. They also put a sticky note on the sink. Ask, then appreciate. Breath expanded. The talk happened, small agreements stuck, and resentment dropped. Not glamorous. Effective. End meaning with a closure ritual under 2 minutes. Note one piece of gratitude for capacity. I stayed present for 90 seconds. Note one next action with a when. Send the text by 6 p.m. Then reorient. 2 sights, 1 sound, 1 sensation. You're telling your system, we integrated and we're safe. If you remember nothing else about meaning, feel, then frame, then act. Small, embodied updates beat grand visions glued on top of unfinished waves. This is where spirituality and psychology shake hands, in choices your breath can stand behind. The 7 most common bypassing patterns and fixes. Let's name the patterns so you can catch them in the wild and swap them for practices that actually integrate. Love and light only. This sounds wholesome. I choose love. Beautiful, after you've felt the full wave. The bypass version edits anger, grief, and fear out of the picture. The fix is pendulation with anger. Give it microdoses. Name heat in hands. Press palms together for 10 seconds. Exhale longer. Then pendulate to a resource, feet on the floor. 2 or 3 rounds. Anger stops being a threat when it's given a safe channel. Manifestation blaming. This weaponizes thoughts create reality into shame. You attracted this. It collapses complex causes into moral math. The fix is separating responsibility from causality. Start with compassion-first truth. Hard things happen. Your worth isn't measured by outcomes. Then look at influence, not guilt. What's one choice available now? That restores agency without indicting your mind as the culprit. Premature forgiveness. You jump to absolution before safety, accountability, or repair. It feels spiritual and keeps the relationship clean. But it teaches your nervous system that harm doesn't matter. The fix is sequencing: repair, boundaries, restitution, then forgiveness if it emerges. Ask, what behavior change would make future harm less likely? If you can't name it or they won't agree, forgiveness becomes internal release, not relational reconciliation. Spiritualized superiority. The subtle vibe. I've transcended what you're still struggling with. It creates distance and blocks learning. The fix is humility reps. Name 3 things you don't know about this situation, this person, and yourself. Say them out loud. Then ask one genuine question instead of offering a teaching. Curiosity collapses the pedestal and invites connection. Non-attachment is numbness. Real non-attachment is spaciousness with feeling. The bypass version is cutting the cord to not feel at all. I'm above it. The fix is full feel, loose hold. You let the sensation run long enough to complete. 2 minutes of precise contact. Then you consciously release clinging. 1 breath naming the value. 1 breath naming the limit. 1 breath letting it be. Feel fully, cling less. Karma or fate rationalization. It's their karma. It happened for a reason, used to sidestep naming harm or taking action. The fix is agency now. Name the harm plainly. This crossed a boundary. Choose a response that reduces future harm. I'm stepping back. I'm reporting this. Or, I'm requesting a repair. Meaning can come later. Agency comes first. High vibration diets and rituals as control. Structure helps until it becomes a cage to keep emotions down. The bypass move is mistaking purity for integration. The fix is controlled flexibility. Deliberately vary one element, 5%. Once a week. Eat a different meal, shorten a ritual, skip one practice and add a walk. Track your breath. If it constricts, pendulate, then proceed. Flexibility becomes a sign of capacity, not failure. Now a quick open loop that pays off fast. The impact first, ask second template works on most of these. When you notice a bypass impulse, speak impact to yourself or a partner, then make a concrete ask. Example for love and light only. Impact. When I avoid anger, I get tense and distant. Ask, give me 2 minutes to feel, then I'll talk. You're not abandoning your values, you're sequencing them. Let me drop in a micro-story cluster. Love and light only client used pendulation with anger for 90 seconds before a meeting. Press, exhale, release. In the meeting, they said, I want to hear you, and I'm getting tense. Can we slow down? The conversation improved, not because they were nicer, but because their body cooperated. Another client stuck in manifestation blame rewrote their script. This is hard, not proof I'm failing at manifesting. One choice now, email for clarity. Their sleep improved because guilt wasn't grinding all night. Common mistakes when switching patterns, overcorrecting. People here don't bypass and dive into intensity without pacing. Remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. The antidotes are tiny reps, not heroic plunges. Also, don't make the antidote a new identity badge. I feel more than everyone. That's superiority in new clothes. Keep humility active. 3 things you still don't know. A practice bundle to keep handy. For love and light only, schedule a 2-minute anger hygiene daily. Press palms, exhale, let a sigh happen, journal 1 sentence. Anger wants X protected. For manifestation blame, write a compassion card. Effort isn't destiny. Agency lives in micro-choices. Read it when shame spikes. For premature forgiveness, draft a repair checklist. Impact named, behavior change agreed, time frame set, restitution acknowledged. If any box is empty, forgiveness waits. For superiority, 2 questions you can't answer yet. For non-attachment, the 3-breath loose hold. For karma rationalization, a harm to action map. Name harm, choose boundary, pick timeline. For ritual control, a flex Friday where you deliberately change 1 variable and pendulate through the wobble. Track outcomes for 2 weeks. You'll see capacity widen. 1 last checkpoint. Breath congruence and relationship feedback. Ask 2 people you trust. Do I feel more present even when I'm upset? If they say yes and your breath expands after hard moments, you're integrating. If they hesitate and you feel brittle calm, a pattern is still running. That's not failure. That's your next rep. Bypassing in relationships, gaslighting, projection, and silence. Let's bring this into everyday dynamics, because bypassing hits hardest in relationships. Spiritual gaslighting sounds like, "You're attracting this. That's your projection," or "Your energy is off," used to dismiss pain instead of engaging it. The impact is brutal. Your experience gets reframed as a mindset failure, and the relationship dodges accountability. If you're on the receiving end, your nervous system learns that telling the truth risks being corrected, not cared for. Projection flips show up when someone labels you unhealed to avoid their part. They might say, "I'm not angry, you're triggered," while their jaw is grinding. The content looks wise. The function is deflection. The game changer here is to shift from diagnosis to impact. Instead of arguing about who's projecting, anchor in what happened and what needs to change. Silence can masquerade as conscious space. Space is healthy when it's agreed upon, time-limited, and oriented to repair. The bypass version is stonewalling wrapped in spiritual language. "I'm protecting my frequency." That's withdrawal as control. It regulates the withdrawer and dysregulates the other. The fix isn't to force talk. It's to create explicit structure around pauses, so neither person is left guessing. Use a simple repair framework. Name impact, validate, agree on behavior changes. Impact is what landed in your body, not a character assault. When you joked about my deadline in front of the team, I felt heat in my chest and shut down. Validation is the other person reflecting comprehension without debate. I get that felt undermining. Behavior change is specific. Next time, flag feedback privately first. This sequence moves the conversation from who's right spiritually to what helps safety return. Now, boundary scripts that stay firm without shaming. Try this. "I want to understand you, and I need my experience respected. When you say I'm attracting this, I feel dismissed. If we keep discussing this, please respond to the impact I named before offering interpretations. If they push back with more concepts, hold the line. I'm pausing this until we can talk impact and behavior." Boundaries regulate the relationship's process, not the other person's inner life. Here's the quick win. The impact first, ask second template. One sentence on impact, one clear, doable ask. "When you cancelled last minute, I felt anxious and scrambled. Next time, please text me as soon as plans shift." Or, "When you called me reactive, I felt shut down. Can you share what you're needing and leave out labels?" Keep it short. Short signals clarity and reduces escalation. If you're the one tempted to bypass, try a self-interrupt. Before saying, "You're projecting," say, "Let me reflect what I heard. You felt X when I did Y." Then ask, "What would help right now?" If you still think projection's in play, save it for later and lead with accountability. "I can see how that landed. I'll try it this way next time." If the pattern continues, bring the meta-pattern to a separate talk when neither is hot. A micro-story. 2 clients in a long-term partnership kept volleying. "That's your shadow," back and forth. We banned that language for a month and swapped in the repair framework. Week 1 felt clunky. By week 3, they'd built a shared habit. Impact, validate, behavior. One night, the usual trigger hit. Instead of shadow talk, partner A said, "Impact. I felt exposed in front of friends." Partner B, "I get it. Next time I'll check before sharing." The room actually relaxed. Their old spiritual commentary wasn't bad. It was mistimed. When space is needed, make it conscious. Use a container. "I need 20 minutes to regulate. I will come back by 6:30, and we'll talk for 10 minutes about one change we can each make." If you can't commit, say so and propose a time you can keep. And if your partner frequently uses space to avoid repair, name that pattern. Our pauses often become exits. I want pauses that lead to repairs. Can we agree on a return time and a single concrete change? Watch for covert superiority. If you catch yourself thinking, "I'm holding higher consciousness here," do 3 humility reps before speaking. One thing you missed, one thing they did right, one thing you can do differently. Then make your ask. You'll come in lower, which keeps connection possible. For group or family settings, pre-negotiate language. In our house, we respond to impact before interpretation. No diagnoses mid-conflict. We can share frameworks later. Post it somewhere. When someone slips into bypass, point to the agreement, not the person. Structure beats shaming. Finally, decide your escalation path. If spiritual gaslighting persists, labels instead of listening, concepts instead of change. Reduce the emotional load in that relationship. Fewer confessions, more logistics, or bring a third-party facilitator. Agency now. Your job isn't to out-explain a defense. It's to protect your capacity and choose relationships that meet you at impact, validation, and repair. Community and culture. Purity politics and group pressure. Let's zoom out to the ecosystem where bypassing thrives. Community. Belonging is powerful medicine, but in the wrong hands it becomes leverage. Purity politics shows up as unspoken rules about being high vibe, endlessly grateful, and never negative. The threat isn't stated outright. It's subtle. Share grief too often, and you stop getting invited. Raise a concern, and you're told to work your shadow privately. Your nervous system learns fast. Mask up or risk exile. Leader dynamics intensify this. Charisma plus certainty equals compliance. A confident teacher with tight answers feels like safety when you're disoriented. But certainty can crowd out inquiry. If the culture orbits one person's take, dissent gets reframed as resistance. Questions become ego, and accountability morphs into betrayal. You end up outsourcing your inner authority to stay inside the circle. Language policing keeps the perimeter. Positivity becomes a mandate, not a practice. Words like low vibe, toxic, and projecting are tossed around to close uncomfortable conversations. Dissent is framed as shadow work you need to do elsewhere. The message is clear: harmonize or hush. It looks peaceful because it's quiet, but it's quiet because people are suppressing. Here's the thing most people miss. Groups encode regulation norms. If the norm is only light, members will regulate by numbing and bypassing to stay included. If the norm is range welcomed, members will regulate by contacting and repairing. Culture either widens capacity or rewards performance. You can feel it in the air. Either your breath expands when struggle is voiced, or it tightens and everyone smiles harder. So how do you protect yourself without abandoning community? Set personal process norms and state them early. I practice naming impact before interpretation. If I'm struggling, I'll pendulate and then share a concrete ask. I won't label others mid-conflict. Share this with facilitators or peers. You're declaring how you engage, which makes you harder to vibe police. Find mixed capacity spaces. Look for rooms where newbies and seasoned practitioners share time, where grief circles sit alongside meditation, where feedback is invited explicitly. Healthy communities publish their repair process, how harm is named, how accountability works, what restitution looks like, and how people re-enter. If you can't find that on day one, ask. The answer tells you more than the branding ever will. Use an evaluation checklist when entering or re-evaluating a group. Safety. Are difficult emotions welcomed and contained, or redirected with spiritual slogans? Accountability. Can leaders receive feedback publicly without punishing the messenger? Repair culture. Do conflicts lead to changed behavior, or to private banishments dressed up as misalignment? Transparency. Are finances, power roles, and decision processes clear? Flexibility. Can rituals adapt without panic? If 3 or more fail, proceed with caution. Let me drop a micro-story. A client loved a breathwork circle that left them blissed out, but any attempt to name post-session grief was met with, "Don't anchor to the density." They started dreading sessions and thinking they were broken. We tested another group that framed breathwork as capacity building and scheduled 10-minute integration shares with clear prompts. Same breathwork, different culture. Their body relaxed because the room allowed full range. If you must stay in a purity-leaning space, create micro-boundaries. Agree with a friend to debrief honestly after, or keep your shares short and factual to avoid being redirected. If a leader reframes your impact as story, calmly reiterate, "I'm naming what happened in my body and a process ask. I'll save interpretations for later." If that still gets shut down, it's data, not a debate to win. Watch your own pull toward purity politics. The ego loves being a model student. If you catch yourself judging others as messy or rushing to correct, pause and do 3 humility reps. What discomfort in me am I avoiding? What might they be teaching me about range? What's one welcoming action I can take? Culture shifts when enough people opt for inclusion over image. Finally, remember, community is a nervous system. You co-regulate together, or you co-perform together. Choose rooms where accountability is normal, repair is public, and leaders are human on purpose. If you can't find one, build a small circle with explicit agreements. Impact before interpretation, range over performance, agency now, meaning later. That kind of culture doesn't just prevent bypass, it grows people. A healthy spirituality. Integration, not ascension escape. Here's the shift. Healthy spirituality isn't an escape ladder, it's an integration practice. Emotions aren't enemies to outthink. They're data, signals with energy attached. Spirituality becomes powerful when it expands your capacity to receive that data, metabolize it, and then act in alignment with what's true now. Think practice stack, not magic bullet. Meditation is great for awareness and steadiness, but pair it with somatic work so your body can process, and with relational repair so your choices land in real life. That stack turns insight into skill. You stop needing peak states to feel okay and start trusting your baseline more because it can handle a wider range. Now, timing is everything. Meaning making belongs after metabolizing, not before. When you feel a wave complete, breath expands on its own, shoulders drop without effort. That's the green light to ask what it means. Doing it earlier is like reading a map while you're still in a storm. You end up navigating the weather, not the road. Let the weather pass, then chart the route. Devotional life deepens when it includes full range. Grief sits with gratitude. Anger sits with love. Or holds both. If your altar only welcomes light, it trains you to hide. Make room for the whole human. A small candle for losses you're still carrying. A stone for boundaries you're strengthening. A written note for someone you're repairing with. Devotion becomes honesty, not performance. Let me show you how this clicked for a student. They loved non-dual teachings and chased spacious awareness anytime conflict arose. It felt expansive, but their partner felt alone. We shifted to integration. They still practiced awareness, but added 2-minute somatic contact when conflict hit, then 1 relational repair step afterward. Their spirituality didn't shrink. It finally touched ground. The result wasn't less peace. It was peace that other people could feel. If you remember nothing else from this section, lock this sequence in your bones. Feel, then frame, then act. Feel enough to complete a wave. Frame the experience into a truer belief. Act in one concrete way that reflects the update. That's not anti-spiritual. That's spirituality with traction. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Build capacity like you build strength at the gym. Progressive, repeatable, tracked by function. Can you stay present for 90 seconds of discomfort without clamping down or bolting? Can you pendulate on purpose? Can you close a loop with a small repair? Those are spiritual gains you can measure in your relationships and your breath. Let's get specific about what healthy integration looks like day to day. Your meditation isn't a moat, it's a morning warm-up for presence. Your breath work isn't a sedative, it's a throttle you can adjust to stay within your window while you feel. Your prayer isn't a bypass, it's a way to ask for support while you do the work. Your rituals aren't purity tests, they're containers that flex as capacity grows. A quick micro-practice that bridges worlds. Before your meditation, take 1 minute to name today's emotional weather. Edgy, 3 out of 10, tight jaw. During meditation, don't chase calm, watch the edges with kindness. After meditation, take 1 minute to choose an action aligned with the weather. Send a clarifying text, drink water, take a 5-minute walk at lunch. That sandwich, naming, presence, action, turns spirituality into integration. Now, the thing most people miss. Integration isn't about feeling everything. It's about staying connected to yourself while you feel something. You don't need intensity to prove sincerity. You need consistency to build trust with your own nervous system. Small, honest reps beat dramatic peaks every time. 2 guardrails prevent ascension escape from sneaking back in. First, breath congruence. After practice, does your breath widen on its own? If yes, you integrated. If you're forcing breath to appear peaceful, you're performing. Second, relationship feedback. Ask one trusted person monthly. Do I feel more present when I'm upset? If they say yes, your spirituality works where it counts. Let me name the payoff. Healthy spirituality makes you more available to life, not less. You can sit with grief without collapsing. You can voice anger without attacking. You can hold joy without clinging. You become the kind of person whose calm doesn't demand silence from others, whose clarity invites collaboration, and whose boundaries reduce harm instead of broadcasting superiority. So keep the altar, keep the mantras, keep the meditation. Just sequence them with your biology. Feel, then frame, then act. That's integration. And when you live this way, positivity stops being a mask and starts being a byproduct your body trusts. Your daily integration routine, 15 minutes. Let's make this doable in 1/4 hour. You'll run 4 segments: orient and breathe, contact cycle, meaning updates, and closure. Keep a pen nearby. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. 3 minutes, orienting and breath. Sit where your back is supported and feet touch the floor. Let your eyes scan the room and quietly name 5 safe or neutral cues. Light on the wall, plant leaves, the texture of your chair, a distant sound, the temperature on your skin. Take 3 rounds of gentle breath with a slightly longer exhale. About 3 in, 4 out. If your mind races, keep scanning and lengthening your exhale. Add 1 piece of grounding touch, hand on chest or thighs, and a tiny temperature shift. Sip cool water or hold a warm mug. Do a brief consent check. I'll feel a little, not everything. Time box it in your head. 5 minutes for contact, 5 minutes for meaning, 2 for closure. 5 minutes, contact cycle. Pick 1 sensation that's present right now. Name location, quality, and intensity. Buzzing in belly, wide, 4 out of 10. Pendulate. 15 seconds with the sensation, 10 seconds with a resource like feet on floor or the weight of your body. Back and forth for 3 rounds. Allow micro-movements, size swallows, tiny stretches. Keep language to, what is it like right now? Update intensity after each round. If it spikes, shorten time on sensation and spend longer with resource. If numbness shows up, name it. Flat 3. And pendulate with a vivid anchor like textured fabric between fingers. End the 5 minutes by reorienting. 2 sights, 1 sound, 1 neutral body place. 5 minutes, meaning. Grab your pen. Write the old belief in 1 sentence. If I ask for what I need, I'll be a burden. Then write the truer, lived one based on today's state. When I ask clearly, some discomfort shows up and connection often improves. Choose 1 boundary or behavior for today. Only 1. Text Sam. If we're running late, please give me a heads up. Pick 1 habit tweak that widens capacity. Phone stays off until after coffee. If a repair is needed, script 1 opener using impact first, ask second. When the plan changed last minute, I got tense. Can we set a check-in next time? Do the breath congruence test while imagining each action. If breath narrows, shrink the dose. Practice the sentence aloud, or send the text later with a time set. Say the new belief out loud once while staying connected to the calmer body state. 2 minutes, closure. Note 1 thing you're grateful for about capacity. I stayed with a 4 out of 10 without bolting. Name 1 concrete next action, and when you'll do it. Reorient again. 3 visuals, 1 sound, 1 sensation that feels neutral or pleasant. If you feel spacey, stand, press your feet into the floor for 10 seconds, then release. End on a small, ordinary act. Drink water, open a window, to signal everyday life is safe. Weekly deep dive. Once a week, do a 30 to 60 minute session with support, therapist, coach, or a trusted friend who agrees to witness without fixing. Same structure, bigger window. Add a repair conversation or a boundary practice that you role-play first. Mistake proofing. Habit pairing. Attach the 15-minute routine to something you already do. After coffee, before lunch, or post-work. Minimum viable reps. If 15 minutes feels steep, do a 5-minute version on busy days. 1 minute orient, 2 minute contact, 1 minute meaning, 1 minute closure. Track felt truth, not streaks. Use a tiny log with 3 boxes. Contacted, updated, acted. If 1 box is empty, that's tomorrow's focus. And don't chase intensity. The metric is breath expanding on its own and 1 behavior shifting, not catharsis. If you remember nothing else about this routine, 3 minutes to arrive, 5 minutes to feel, 5 minutes to choose, 2 minutes to close. Feel, then frame, then act daily. Here's the takeaway. Positivity helps after emotions complete. Bypassing swaps short-term calm for long-term stuck patterns and brittle relationships. Run the 15-minute routine for 1 week and notice 1 relationship shift, however small. If you want grounded psychology that respects your spirituality, subscribe now and watch the next video on boundaries that heal and actually repair trust. Try the routine today. Your breath will tell you if it's working.